You know that feeling when you're watching an American movie and someone says something that just makes absolutely no sense? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're going to crack the code on the weird and wonderful world of American English idioms, and we're using the fantastic book, 101 American English Idioms, as our guide.
So just to show you how strange these phrases can be, let's start with a little puzzle. Imagine, just for a second, that you took every single phrase in English literally. You'd end up with some pretty wild pictures in your head.
I mean, have you ever heard someone say they're pulling your leg and imagine something like this? Or what about hearing a hot tip straight from the horse's mouth and picturing an actual horse giving out stock advice? It's completely bizarre when you stop and think about it, right? But it shows you perfectly just how big the gap is between the words themselves and what they actually mean.
So, what is going on with these phrases? Why don't they just mean what they say? Let's break down what an idiom really is.
The author of the book, Harry Collis, he just hits the nail on the head with this. The whole problem is right here. You can know every single word in a phrase. You can be a walking dictionary and still have absolutely no clue what the person is talking about. The meaning isn't in the pieces, it's in the whole expression.
And that's what these are called idioms. Honestly, you can think of them like a kind of secret code that native speakers use. They're these little packets of imagery and feeling that really give the language its unique flavor and punch.
Okay, so let's decode a few to really get a feel for this. We're going to start with some common phrases from the animal kingdom, which the book has this great title for. It's a zoo out there.
All right, first up, we've got this wonderful illustration. We've got a chef, he's looking into his soup pot, and, well, it looks like he's found an ingredient that was definitely not on the menu. This is the literal idea behind the idiom, smell a rat.
But obviously, it doesn't actually mean finding a rodent in your dinner. So what's the real meaning? Look at that suspicious expression on the chef's face. Got any guesses?
If you smell a rat, it just means you get a gut feeling that something is wrong, you know? Something is suspicious. It's that little alarm bell that goes off in your head when a story just doesn't quite add up.
Okay, next puzzle. Here we see a house that is, well, quite literally gone to the dogs. I mean, there's a giant dog just living in this crumbling house. It's a pretty funny picture, but what could it possibly mean?
So what do you think? When a place has gone to the dogs, what's really happening? I mean, look at the clues here. The broken fence, the boarded up windows. What story is this picture telling us?
And there you have it. This just means something has become totally run down and neglected. You know, a building, a business, even a whole neighborhood. If it's in really bad shape, it's gone to the dogs. And for our last animal idiom, we've got someone letting a very large cat. Wait, is that a tiger? Out of a bag. Another one of these images that makes no sense on its own. Now this one is super common, so there's a good chance you already know it. Any ideas what's happening here? What does it mean when you let the cat out of the bag?
Exactly. It means you revealed a secret, and usually it's by accident. And this one has a pretty cool origin story. So the story goes that back in the day, at old markets, a farmer might try to sell you a piglet in a bag, but a sneaky seller might swap the pig for a worthless cat. If you opened the bag to check, well, you'd let the cat out of the bag, and the secret was out. And believe me, the list just goes on and on and on. These phrases are absolutely everywhere in American English. You've probably heard someone talk about spilling the beans or saying it's time to hit the hay. And then you have all these different ways of saying someone passed away, like bite the dust or kick the bucket. It's a huge, huge part of the language. So after seeing all these totally bizarre, illogical phrases, you might be thinking, why? Why should I even bother with these? What's the big deal? Well, here's the thing. Getting a handle on idioms is about so much more than just memorizing vocabulary. It's about tapping into the culture, the humor, and the shared way of seeing the world that's baked into a language. Like the book says, they provide the imagery and impact that make a language feel alive. Mastering them is really one of the biggest steps you can take to go from just speaking a language to truly feeling fluent. These phrases are just this fascinating window into how a culture plays with words. So we'll leave you with a question to chew on. Whether it's from English or your own language, what is the absolute strangest, most wonderfully illogical idiom you've ever heard?